Hello and welcome to another episode of the Video Creator Show. Today, Augie and I are going to be talking about a specific subject, but it's one I think that is really important. And that subject is how to come back after a long break. So let's say you've been on YouTube for a few months, a few years, and you are tired. You feel like you're out of ideas, or you just don't quite have what it takes to keep making videos for what that channel needs. So you take a break, but then all of a sudden you feel recharged. The juices are back. You feel like you understand why you want to make videos again. There's a return of a feeling that was once lost. And today, Augie and I are going to talk about what to do with that feeling and how to come back, because it's different than just your initial jump into YouTube. An initial jump into YouTube, I feel like there's a lot more, I don't want to say optimism, but I think just raw positivity, and it's more, you're less jaded. And now we're more experienced, we have the break, we have the rest, but maybe there's still some jadedness left inside of us, and we are going to talk about how to overcome that, how to succeed in a new chapter of your YouTube life. And with that, we are ready to jump into it. Augie, I'm really stoked to talk to you about this because I feel like we are at a similar point in our YouTube careers. You know, we built channels, we felt successful, we got hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and I don't know, hopefully this doesn't come off like a brag or a humble brag or something, but point is, like, we did it, man. We did it. We have our channels that we're proud of, but we also needed this period of time to just like rest and do other things and not focus on YouTube, not worry about it or be concerned with it. And now it seems like we're both ready to jump back into it. So what that looks like for me, as most of you probably know, my main channel is called Treesicle. It's a video game channel, and I haven't really posted to it in almost a year. It'll be a year in November, and that's a long time. So I've had a lot of feelings about wanting to do something with it, but not quite knowing how. And I actually, just before recording this, was having a meeting with my partner, my co-founder, my good friend, about revamping Treesicle, and we're writing a script, and things are happening with the channel for the first time in a long time. And it does feel different and good. So I'm excited. Augie, I'm curious to hear about exactly where you're at. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Let's hear about you, Augie.
Yeah, well, first of all, I didn't know that it had been close to a year that you haven't uploaded. So, and the fact that you had a meeting and you got the script going and stuff, that's huge, man. So I'm excited. Definitely going to watch that video. Let me know when it's out.
Can do.
Yeah, so that's cool. And you know, that's at a 10-month break, that's not super long. It is pretty long. But when you're talking about me and my journey, we're talking about, I don't know, a 5-year break at this point. And like I mentioned, I'm ready to jump back in. I'm actually have plans. My to-do list has to shoot some videos next week, but it's going to be for a different channel. So the 5-year break would be for a channel that is now dead, which, you know, still gets views and stuff, but it's not, I'm not uploading there anymore. Will I ever upload there again? I'd like to say yes. And I'd, could definitely see myself doing that. But I'm going to start creating videos for VidChops, and really just for it's going to be maybe my personal brand. It's going to be a personal channel where I'm not just going to talk 100% about YouTube tricks and how to get views, but also just more of online business. And honestly, I'm just going to kind of go behind the scenes of what I'm doing with VidChops, what I'm doing with a new company that I'm starting called Podcast Wings, and just kind of give behind the scenes there and give tips, advice, and hopefully just provide value and create good videos. I think at this point in my YouTube journey, I've not only created so many videos, but I've also consumed so many videos. And at this point, I kind of feel like I see the clear path of growth on YouTube, and I've done so much learning. And I mean, you and I, right, have talked about so many different things. Like, I know what to do, but it's not easy. It's a challenge. And I think that's one thing that's been kind of stopping me from just getting going and consistently is, um, I need to create really good videos. And that's really the name of the game. We talk about it all the time with, if you want to get analytical, it's view duration, watch time, it's hooking them in, all that kind of stuff, thumbnails. But really when it all comes down to it, it's just creating a really good video. And that takes work. So I think I'm going to kind of just start slow. I did release a bunch of how to get more views, that kind of content on a YouTube channel that was VidChops. And now it is under my name, Augie Johnston, personal brand. And not only on YouTube, but I'm going to start releasing short form content on TikTok and, reels and shorts and just do that whole kind of machine where we're going to go from YouTube videos to repurpose for short form content, and then also create custom or, new short form content. And that's the plan. Yeah. So starting next week, I'm going to script one out and hit that publish button.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's interesting where you're at because you, with your original channel, Baller Bootcamp, you were kind of in the thick of it. Like you were in front of the camera, you were editing the videos, correct?
Yeah.
And your wife was filming or somebody else was filming, and you were in the trenches, essentially. You were kind of involved in every single step of the process. But it seems like where you're moving now is more towards like a managerial role. Like you're running a company or a couple companies, as opposed to being directly involved with all the editing. Like you're more, what's the word? You're splitting the work up. You're hiring people to do certain work, you're upscaling, and this feels different than it was before. And this is also what I'm doing. So I'm at a point where I'm not planning on doing any of the real grunt work editing, finding clips and putting them in. And I still want to do certain types of editing, like maybe a joke that I think is really funny. I'll want to edit that part, or a part that is super bombastic. The point is, I am hiring out parts of the video that I think somebody else could do better and faster, and saving myself time, because we've both made a million of these videos at this point. There's no reason, I think, to continue doing the quote unquote grunt work. And I think when it comes to coming back after a long break, there should be a change like that. It doesn't have to look exactly like that, but I feel like something should be different, right? Like if you come back after a 1-year break and nothing has changed, your process is exactly the same, you're exactly the same, your goals are the same. Like it just, I feel like that's wrong. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you're constantly trying to improve what you're doing. So not only making better videos, as the time goes on, and that happens naturally, right? But also the better process, right? So that you can crank out more videos, kind of the name of the game. And so, yeah, I mean, the process when you come back you should have the years of experience pay off, right? And actually get that return. And just whether, like you said, you have an editor or a thumbnail guy, or just even if you're doing it yourself, just like you use better tools, right? Maybe it's a Chrome extension, vidIQ, something like that, to where you're just streamlining your process when you come back, and hopefully create higher quality videos and do it easier. Like that's the ultimate, right? I mean, if you could delegate everything except for just being the talent, the creative, then that's where you want to be, because that's the challenge with YouTube is it's a solo thing. Normally, when you start out, like I saw like an ad, or I don't know what I saw, but it was talking about how if you want to start a channel, there's a pretty long list of challenging skill set that you need to develop, whether graphic design, SEO, videography, scripting. There's some social media marketing elements. These are all things that are good to learn, but at some point, if you feel like one thing that you're not good at, if you outsource it to someone that is good at it, then you're only going to like exponentially increase your chances to succeed,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and part of this obviously is having stable enough finances, or being able to like having the means to hire people to do the work that makes sense to hire people for. to, as you said, spend as much time being the creative head and the creative person as possible and not getting bogged down in all of the kind of day-to-day things that need to get done to make videos, whether it's editing or sound design or whatever. Often it makes more sense to hire somebody to do that so that you can scale up and make more videos and spend more time doing the thing that you are best at, and more importantly, that only you can do. The more time you can spend doing that, I think the more time you can spend succeeding. And at least for me, part of coming back after this break, it's been important what I've done during the break, which for me has been freelancing and kind of finding other ways to make money besides YouTube. And then that has kind of given me the financial freedom to hire people that I want to hire and kind of run my channel exactly how I want to run it, as opposed to doing everything because I have to, because I can't afford to do it any other way. I think it sucks to operate from that kind of that mindset for long periods of time. You know, oh, I have to do this. I have to do, like, YouTube should be about you and what you want to do. And if you're constantly obligated, I feel like you're going to run out of steam. And hence why I feel differently about what's coming next.
That's good. So, I mean, the fact that you're able to, you know, delegate some stuff out is kind of relieving the stress for you, and that's what's bringing you back, then great. I mean, if at some point you might feel like, you know, the return on investment's not there, we're not, you know, I can't afford to pay this editor anymore, you can start editing yourself. I feel like you've given yourself the break, you know, you can start editing. So even if, like, and this is not really a pitch or anything, but like for VidChops, like I think about sometimes, like someone gets really excited about starting a YouTube channel. They shoot like 12 videos, you know, they never get one up and live. Well, just hire VidChops, you know, or an editor, anybody to edit for 1 month. You don't have to do it for the rest of your life. It's super expensive, especially if you're starting out, you have no money to invest, but that's going to like get you, you know, 10 to 12 videos edited in your library. And then, you know, you can take it from there. So, you know, I think even if you are just starting out, like there's just so much stuff that comes with starting a YouTube channel. And most people are like, and us too, we're like, just hit record. That's all you gotta do is hit record, you know, don't be afraid. But if you can just say like, all right, I have a $500 budget. I've been saving up for 6 months while I've been recording. I'm going to put this towards launching my channel and delegating out whatever it takes. Like maybe it's just some coaching, you know, maybe it's not an actual thing, or maybe it's, yeah, like hiring an editor or whatever. Like, I think it's money well spent. I think it's not a bad idea to invest. That's all I'm trying to say.
Hey there. You probably know the Video Creator Show is brought to you by VidChops.com. What is VidChops.com? Well, it is an editing service that will take the horrible burden of editing off your back. We all know video editing. It's tedious. It takes forever. But what if you had a professional who did it for you? You go to sleep, you wake up, it's done. Wouldn't that be magical? VidChops.com. Hire a professional, save yourself time and energy, and take your YouTube channel to the next level. Totally. And I like what you said about you don't have to do it forever. Like you can always do editing yourself that you have currently hired an editor to do, even if that means filling in for a little bit. And that's something I've thought about and that I'm open to. And I think the idea of flexibility and not constantly being obligated to do things that I don't want to do, like those two things are key, is not feeling obligated too often and being able to focus on what I actually like. That is what fills me with excitement. I think part of this break, and for anybody who is on a break, has been learning about what went wrong for me and kind of being honest about that, and focusing on my mental health so that I could come back and do the best work that I can do. And I should put an asterisk there. Like, I was more focusing on my mental health to focus on my mental health. I didn't do it like, oh, I need to come back to YouTube and I can only do that if I feel this good. I feel like if you do that, then you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. But do you feel that the break you took, which was much longer than mine, it seems like it was like 5 times as long, clearly that was necessary. Like, how do you feel now that you're at the end of it versus when you just started that break?
Yeah, I mean, my break, like I said, it was like 5 years from really being in it full time. But I did create, like 15 to 20 videos, maybe 1 to 2 years ago. So I guess technically my break is not super long. But, the reason I stopped then was just because of time. Like my time was just so limited. I just stacked on so many things in my life. And I think that's a good lesson. Like if you want to do YouTube and you like, I want to be a full-time YouTuber, or you like want to have some kind of growth and not just a hobby that you don't really care about, but like you want to like be able to look at the analytics and see the growth and all that kind of stuff, then you have to prioritize it. And like on my priority list, it was so low because I was teaching, coaching, running VidChops, running this other youth program. And I was like, okay, I'm going to shoot these videos. I did it for a while. And then it was just like, I cannot do this anymore. And it was just so low on the priority list. So that's the first thing, is like, put it high on the priority list. Now my time is freed up, not teaching. I'm just focusing on VidChops. And that's what's making me say like, okay, finally, now I can start creating the content that I need to. I kind of forgot the question, but I don't know if I answered it or not. But
so the question was, how do you feel now that you're at the end of the break versus at the beginning of it?
Yeah, I'm definitely motivated. I'm motivated to hit record. And I'm a little bit scared because I think I'm really overthinking the very first video coming back. I'm overthinking everything in general. I'm overthinking camera. And that's another scary place to be. And maybe that's one of the reasons that's been holding me back is once you learn so much, you know too much, like, you overthink it. And like honestly, like I'm thinking, do I need a new camera before I jump back in? Do I need like, sound? Is everything good with the lighting? Like, I don't know, like there's just too much now that I know where I need to like kind of dumb it down before I jump back in and be like, oh, that hook's not good enough. Like I might write a script and be like, I know the hook has to be good. I know it has to be good. I'm like spending like too long trying to write a hook. I'm like, dude, just now we're back to just hit record. Okay, now we're back to like, now, okay, you just hit record, forget about all the extra knowledge, And I think that happens to a lot of people. I think they eventually, and it's kind of weird because you think that the knowledge is going to make it easier for you, but it sometimes just makes it harder. So I'm motivated to come back after the long break. I definitely, this is like a good therapy session right here because I think I'm giving myself some good advice and just a good time to reflect. Yeah.
I love and completely relate to what you said about all of this knowledge tripping you up. I felt like for the last couple years, I know so much more than when I started, but that it's harder to do anything because I feel like I have enough knowledge now to where I can see everything that is wrong with the video. Whereas when I first started, I was ignorant enough to think that everything I did was great, or to at least think it was good. Yeah. And I didn't really notice any of the things that were wrong with it. Or even if something was wrong with it, like I mispronounced a word, I would like convince myself that it was cooler because I mispronounced that word or something. It was like I had this raw confidence, I think, that came from, just not being naive, but I think just when you're first starting out with something, there's a kind of childlike wonder about it that is harder to maintain the longer you do it. And so, we've gained all this knowledge, but that kind of initial excitement, that pure excitement, can get washed out by all of the things you learn and how you learn everything that you're not good at and everything that you can improve on. And all these aspects of how to build a great video. So you were talking about writing a hook in the very beginning, making a catchy intro. That's great, but it's good that you know that you should do that. But the fact that it's taking so much energy out of you to do it is like, it indicates that something is still off. It's like you have the knowledge, but you haven't quite integrated it with yourself yet. Like, how do you effortlessly act on that knowledge without getting tripped up by the knowledge? I think this is the golden philosophical question of the day of coming back from jadedness.
Yeah, and I think also too, like, you just need to focus on the right thing, and that's to publish videos. If that's your main like KPI, key performance indicator, is video going up 3 times a week or 2 times a week or 1 times a week, and the answer is yes, then nothing else really matters, because if you're not publishing, then you're not getting views, right? So really, I guess the focus should be, am I publishing videos? Yes or no? No. Why? Got to figure that out. Yes. Then, okay, great. What are some small tweaks that are not going to hold you up, that are going to allow you to improve what you're doing? And that should be really the only thing that matters. Because I know that if I would just focus on that, then I probably would have jumped in a while ago and at least published some. Like maybe I wouldn't have got into it full time and been like, okay, I'm going once a week again. But I mean, it's been 2 years. Why haven't I at least put out 1 video a year, or maybe even 4 or 5 or 7 or however many? Like, because I'm just worried about, oh, I got to make this big comeback. What's the first video going to be? And just overthinking it. There it is. Instead of, all that matters is that videos are going up. Mm-hmm. And hey, I'm going to start focusing on that, I think. And next week when I sit down, or this weekend when I sit down to script, I'm not going to overthink it. I'm just going to worry about getting the script done and then just go from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's something to be said about just doing and not overthinking. Casey Neistat, the vlogger, he, for those who don't know, had a daily vlog. He made a video every single day for years. It was ridiculous. But one of his big philosophies was no second takes. And you can apply this to writing as well. So anytime he talked to the camera, whatever his first take was, he would just go with it. He wouldn't reshoot anything, and that's scary. That's a scary thought. But it also saves you a ton of time, and more importantly, what it does is it teaches you to act on instinct. Instinct is extremely efficient, and arguably it's the part of you, I think, that is closest to yourself and who you actually are. So you want to train that part of you. So when you're constantly only going with first takes and writing, okay, you should do like 2 drafts of writing at least. Like you write a second draft. But even then, you should stick to the idea of not doubting yourself. Like just the first draft, write as much as you can, maybe as fast as you can. And then the second draft, again, just, take some extra time to dot the I's and cross the T's. But it's, I think, about being gentle with yourself and about letting it flow instead of trying to get every single last detail absolutely perfect. That's what trips people up, is being a perfectionist. I think actually it was on Casey Neistat's podcast where him and his wife were talking about, they said a line that has really stuck with me. Perfection is the enemy of good enough. And when we're talking about posting consistently, perfection is indeed the enemy of good enough. You want to be good enough and be prolific, not be, making the occasional video that is great, but you could be making more. The only caveat, of course, is sometimes making a video rarely actually works. But even then, usually they're very long and detailed, and the work is still consistent being put into it. You still don't want a lot of wasted time with that. But yeah, that's my rant on not being a perfectionist.
Yeah, the whole no second take thing just made me think of, okay, well, if the main KPI that you're going on, are you succeeding on YouTube, is, am I publishing videos? Yes. And that's all you're focusing on. Then the second kind of KPI might be like, am I getting better on camera, or am I able to one take it, right? Because like we look at these channels that release every day, and normally they're not vlog channels. Like what Casey Neistat did was crazy, vlogging every day. But there are a lot of channels that are just talking head, where they're just talking to the camera. They're releasing 5 to 7 days a week. And those people have mastered that, right? And they're able to how do they publish 7 days a week? That's insane. Well, they've mastered that one part, right? Like where they don't need a second take ever. Mm-hmm. And so that for them allows them to master that first KPI of, am I publishing videos? Yeah, you're publishing seven a week. So, it's kind of like a funnel. Like you need this skill, this skill, this skill. If everything kind of lines up, then you're just pumping out the videos. And so I don't know. I think we talked a lot about overthinking, right? And that kind of stuff. What about like not maybe let's talk a little bit more strategy now about like coming back. Like that's one thing I wanted to ask. And let's just put a small caveat here. Like I don't personally know like a great launch plan. I don't know if you've seen one before, Grant, or anything, but like it's kind of just like our opinions here a little bit. But what would you say, like for me on my channel, I got like maybe 400 or 500 subscribers. These are all like YouTube tutorials. I'm going to come back right now. Is there any ideas on like, I don't know, like, I guess how important is the first video in your opinion?
I think it's crucial that the first video back is really good. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece, but it should be really good. And as far as a strategy for making that happen, so what we're doing with Treesicle right now is we're taking it piece by piece. So one thing we've done is we'll schedule a meeting. It's an hour, and Ryan and I will sit down and we'll have a goal for that meeting. So the meeting that we had today, we were talking about an outline for a script. We did some research before the meeting. We each individually did some research about this video game that we're covering. And by the end of the meeting, we wanted to take all of that information that we found and turn it into an outline for a video that we think is going to be really good. So we accomplished that. And now, after that meeting, we scheduled another meeting. So this next meeting is a week and a half from now. And our goal for that meeting is to, like, before we get together again, we're going to write a rough draft. We're going to take that outline that we made today, and we're going to turn it into a rough draft, and then meet again, talk about what's wrong with the rough draft, what's right with it, and then make a final draft. So the point is, we are taking it step by step, and we are scheduling things essentially 1 week at a time, and kind of giving ourselves milestones for making this video, as opposed to just saying, okay, it'd be nice to release a video on October 1st, so let's do it. We're just kind of, however long it takes is how long it takes, and we are putting time into our schedule, like actually setting aside time, scheduling it so that we know exactly what is expected of us in what amount of time, and when the deadline is. I think one thing that can be hard about coming back is you can technically come back whenever you want. So if you're not scheduling time into your life, then you're never going to do it. You're just going to keep pushing it off. And I know this sounds extremely simple, just like set a time. And for me, it's easier because I'm working with somebody. But you do at some point have to just set a time and start working. And then once some work is done, then schedule another time. And okay, what do you want to accomplish in the meantime there? So yeah, it's just, I think about taking it step by step for making that first really good video.
Nice. That's good to hear that your advice would be to take that first, take it seriously when you come back, make sure the first video back is good. And I agree with that. That's what I was going to say too on the subject was make sure the video is good. And my kind of theory behind it is that if you haven't uploaded in a while and you have a solid channel and all of a sudden, you upload a new video, my guess is that YouTube is going to maybe not give you extra favor, but they're going to push you out a little bit to your subscribers and say like, look, we know this guy hasn't uploaded and everything. Let's just see if there's, any hope for him, basically. Like, and so if they push you out to your subscribers and no one clicks because all of a sudden now you're talking about a different subject totally, or whatever, you need to really like look at who your viewer is, I think, and make sure you come out with something that's going to appeal to them, because you want them to click on that. Because I think you can get some momentum if YouTube serves it to your subscribers. They start, you get proof of concept basically by them watching and getting that good view duration, all that. Then I think YouTube will say, all right, hey, let's put this thumbnail out in front of, some other people that aren't their subscribers and see if it really is a good video. And if it is and people click on it, then I think, that's a great way to come back with actually getting views on your video. Otherwise, you might publish your video, and if it's just kind of like a video or it doesn't just align with what your viewers want, your subscribers, then it's going to be bad. And then the second video, it's going to be, YouTube's not going to be pumped. The algorithm's not going to be super pumped to promote it out. And then just kind of setting yourself up for a harder comeback. Yeah. So one more question I had for you, maybe you can give me your opinion on this is, do you need to make like a where I've been video or like a, hey, I'm back video or something like that? Is the one you guys are scripting, is it include any of that, or is it just totally just, oh, we're picking up where we left off?
We're pretty much just picking up where we left off. We'll mention it, so we'll make some jokes like, "Oh, what have we been doing in the meantime?" And I don't know. We had a joke about that when we came back from our last long break. I don't know. It implied Ryan and I were in a sort of a loving relationship, shall we say. We were busy with each other. It was pretty funny. But besides referencing it a couple times, not really. You don't have to. I think, but also part of that, it depends on your presence. Like, what is your online presence like? For me, I'm talking about video games. At the end of the day, all that really matters is that I talk to people about a video game and I tell them something they wouldn't have otherwise known. I entertain them. I philosophize. And that's it. What I'm doing with my personal life, it's not really that relevant. Occasionally it is, maybe some character in a game is experiencing something similar to something I've experienced, and then I can kind of pull from my own life and talk about that. But overall, no, you don't need to do that. I would only recommend it if your channel is extremely personal, like you are really connected with your audience. They feel like they know who you are. You're kind of just showing up and being yourself on camera. Like there isn't much of a filter between your personal life and your channel. I mean, Casey Neistat's a good example of that. Just going to keep talking about him, or any vlogger really.
Yeah.
If I feel like I've answered the question.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. I think if people are coming to your channel for information and education and stuff, like there's no reason to say I'm back. That could actually hurt you, right? Like, okay, like for my channel, like talking about the algorithm, how to get subscribers, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden I'm back. Oh, here's what I've been doing. No one's going to click on that. Like that's not what they're there for. So, it crossed my mind though. I was like, should I? I think I have to. I'm like, but my subscribers are so small too. Like, and also that could be a factor too. Like if you got like 2 million subscribers and you disappear for 6 months, like you might want to, have the I'm back video, because it's just, I don't know. I just feel like at that point, there's so many people like they're wondering, like for Baller Bootcamp, it's not 2 million, but maybe 200,000 subscribers. If I came back, would I make an I'm back video? Actually, I probably wouldn't, just due to the fact that people don't really care about my personal life. Vlogs never did well on that channel. It was just straight tutorials that would get any kind of view on that channel. So yeah, I think if I was to make a bet on it, I would not make an I'm back video. So, okay. So what else about coming back? Is there any other strategies or anything? It sounds like you guys are like taking it super. It sounds like you guys are overthinking it. Honestly, really? Right? Do you feel like that? And now that we've been like kind of started the episode off today saying like don't overthink it, do you feel like you are a little bit? Because how are you going to keep that up, right? If you're meeting once a week to create this first video, how are you going to make the second one? Oh, but 2 months later?
Yeah, we might do that. Like our plan isn't to bring the channel back to exactly where it was, where we were releasing once or twice or even 3 times a week. Our plan is still just to post to the channel at whatever pace makes sense. And part of this too is, we are working with editors now, when before we didn't really do that much. And so this is new for us. So in a sense, we're getting a feel for this new process. And then I think when we're more comfortable with it, then we can start thinking about making more videos. But for now, just the fact that we're making a video is a step in the right direction. Like we haven't made one for 10 months. So now we're making one. So, hey, good job us, pat myself on the back. So in that sense, we're not overthinking it, because we're just making a video and we're going to see how that does. And then we're going to make another video and we're going to see how that, and it's kind of just, it's this very simple, let things flow. And then we also have an idea for a second channel that I don't think I'm going to go into now, but the production for that is going to be much more simple. It's straightforward and less time consuming. That's the idea. So part of coming back too is kind of creating that new type of video, that new type of workflow. But we need to bring the main channel back first before we create that second channel. So yeah, I feel like we have a plan. It's pretty straightforward. We're kind of just taking it step by step and learning as we go.
Yeah, nice. That sounds like a good plan. Yeah, I mean, after 10 months, it's almost like one of those things like we need to at least drop a video, right? It's like 10 months could turn into 2 years, but if 10 months turns into a video, then next month another video, next month another, then I feel like you're still, saving the channel at least, keeping it engaged and stuff. And who knows? I mean, the ultimate, right, would be that you guys release this video that when you come back, it does well. You get all motivated to jump back in, or maybe not. Maybe just the new strategy is a monthly video that's really high production, highly scripted. And there you go. That's your cadence. I guess that must be one of the goals, right? Is that this video does well, and then the next one does well, and you just continue with just a slower release schedule, maybe?
Yeah, totally. Especially for the time being. And if it makes sense to up the release schedule, great. But for now, a slower release schedule is better than not releasing at all. So it's, again, a step in the right direction. And I like that we're kind of going at a pace that makes sense, but that isn't too slow. And Ryan and we have full-time jobs doing other things now. And it just kind of doesn't make sense to be pumping out videos right now. It just, feels wrong, And part of my motivation too, and I think this is important, is the topic that we're covering for the video. So it's a game called Poppy's Playtime. And it's a really big game. It's like huge on YouTube. So there's a good chance that it's going to do really well. And the game is interesting. We're happy to talk about it. So it's this kind of nice combination of we have good reason to believe it's going to get a lot of views, and we actually like talking about it. So some of, I think, coming back is waiting for the right moments, like waiting for the right thing to talk about. Something that is interesting and that you have faith will do well. Because, I've had a couple... When you make a video and it doesn't do well, it feels bad. And if that's your comeback video, you could... That just kind of sucks. And I don't really want to do that. I want the video to do well. So that's, I think, part of the formula here.
Nice. Are you guys... I know you said you're scripting it out and stuff together and stuff. Do you have a hook or anything yet?
Not yet. So we just have an outline. I'm going to write the intro. Yeah, part of my job is to write the intro in the next week. So that's nice. Where the hook is going to come in.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited. This is a good conversation to have. I think I'm going to use my first video back is going to be, and just my content in general now is going to be a little bit more story based than just straight cut and dry. If I want to teach somebody about, I don't know, how to start an online business, I want to use like a story to do that, just to just try to make a little bit more entertaining content that will get better watch time. That's it. So we'll see how it goes. As everything's hypothetical, everything's flexible. And I haven't decided yet if I want to do green screen or just studio, but I might be doing a little green screen action. We'll see. I don't know. Got to kind of decide on that soon.
Green screen's fun. You can literally put anything behind you. There's a lot of opportunities for a lot of jokes, and I don't know if you're going that route, but it's fun. It is extra work, a green screen, but it's also cool, and cool is cool.
Yeah, and also too B-roll, right? I'm going to be trying to use B-roll to help tell these stories. So we'll see. Maybe I'm already overthinking it. Maybe I should just shoot a talking head video, jump cut it, throw it up, just make sure the script is good. That might be the best way, but I don't know. I think I'm going to do like you're doing and put a little extra effort into this first video back.
I think part of it is like having fun with it. If you're obsessing over details and you're kind of driving yourself crazy, then maybe take a step back and change things up. But it's also fun to be creative. If you're stoked about using a green screen and you have ideas of how you want to use it, how you're going to up your presentation game, like that is huge. That's how you get in the flow where you're actually enjoying the work. So I say whatever helps you flow, that's going to be most important here. So yeah, I think flow is going to be huge for you, and that much is clear to me. Do you have any other tips that you would recommend that I use during this new chapter of my life?
Yeah, I mean, you could do like a little bit of like a launch strategy. Like I'm gonna make sure to like be kind of active on my stories. I don't know if this is if you have like social media profiles built up other places or even on YouTube though, right? You can use the community tab and post and be like, hey, we're coming back, we're making a comeback, and I'll probably do that across all my social medias and the stories and just with posts and just kind of hype it up, get a little bit of excitement. So when you do post and you say, hey, we posted again, you can drive some views there. But just make sure that you're driving the right kind of views. Don't be posting on your, I don't know, automobile Instagram fan page that you're coming out with a video game tutorial or something like that, because that would bring the wrong viewers. But other than that, yeah, I think, a little mini launch strategy is not a bad idea. If you have an email list, you can promote it there. And yeah, I think that's a good idea.
So as far as launch strategy, I've heard it's smart to launch with at least 3 videos. Like you have 3 to 5 videos, and the idea behind this is a new viewer can binge watch your videos, which is going to maximize watch time on your channel. It also, I think, helps people get a feel for you and remember you. If they only watch one video, and even if it's great, they're more likely to forget about it than if they watch 3 to 5 videos. So I'm curious, do you have exact numbers in your head for how many videos you're going to post, how many shorts you're going to post?
Yeah, so I mean, the strategy I just kind of described, all my posts will just be like, hey, put the link in my bio. I already have videos on my channel, so I don't need to worry about making sure that there's 3 videos posted. But I do understand if it's a brand new channel, I do understand what you're saying. I mean, you might want to release 3 videos at the same time to launch it. That would make a lot of sense. But for me, yeah, it's just going to be about, creating little short videos for the other ones once the video is live and just telling people, hey, come check it out. Let's get some views on this thing. Back in the day, it was all about that view velocity. If you ever hear that one, that's like when you first release a video, you wanted to drive a bunch of people to it, because if it got a lot of views, like in the first 12 to 24 hours, then YouTube would see that as a good sign. They would promote it out. I don't think that's really anything nowadays. It's not super important because it's just the algorithm over the years. And it's the same with the Google algorithm too. It's like all the stuff that you can kind of manufacture, they've gotten rid of. So you can manufacture that with an email list or with your other social medias. I could definitely, I could pay somebody with an Instagram fan page, for a shout out the day that I release a video to get that view velocity. But anyways, that's kind of a little bit of a tangent. But I do think that you want to get some people, you want to get some eyeballs on the video that are just already your loyal fans, that are already your subscribers, right? I'm talking about on your Instagram, people that came from YouTube to follow you on Instagram, and now you're posting back on YouTube again. Like, let them know, because who knows, they might not get promoted to them.
Yeah, promoting to the right people is everything. You're better off just kind of posting the video and not promoting it all over the place, as long as your subscribers actually like your video. I think the old YouTube was based off view velocity, in the sense that the more views you got, the more views you would get. But the more up-to-date YouTube is, if the watch time's not good on the video, then it's just not going to take off. So you have to make sure whoever is clicking on your video is actually watching it. That is huge. That is key, and definitely part of an important launch strategy.
Yeah, and it's just, I hear people say like, that's why you shouldn't like promote your videos with ads. I mean, I'm guilty of doing it in the past. Like, I'm talking about the exact ads on YouTube. You really want the algorithm to do the work for you, to promote your video by giving you impression, which means they're going to show your thumbnail to somebody. And the algorithm is going to choose the right people. It's going to choose people that watch similar type videos or that have watched your videos in the past. So that's where you want to be. Those are the people that actually give you the good view duration and give you the best chances to succeed.
Right on. Definitely true. And with that, I feel like we've hit all the bases here. How to come back from a long break. So let's summarize this, huh? So there's okay, we'll cut this part out. What is I keep forgetting the word. It's to give someone else work. It starts with a D.
Delegate.
Delegate. That is the word. Okay, here we go. To summarize, the most important point for me has been learning to delegate work, to be able to show up, be the most creative I can be, and pay somebody else to do a lot of the time-consuming work that I've already done so many times before. It just makes sense to have somebody else do it so that I can focus on the things that only I can do. It excites me to no end, to feel like I can just show up and do the fun creative parts and just hire somebody else. So that is huge for me coming back, and perhaps more generally, just coming back with a fresh system, a fresh way of doing things, a fresh process. If you're coming back and everything feels the same, I feel like you're going to get the same results. You're going to get burned out again. You're not going to jump up to new heights. You're not going to get more fame or more money or anything like that. You're just going to kind of do the same old thing. So you got to revamp. You got to change it up. What were... The conclusion's the hardest part.
Don't overthink it. And then I think that's about it.
Yeah. So changing it up. And the next big thing is don't overthink it. Augie, how would you summarize not overthinking?
I would say just make sure that you, don't let the small details stop you from publishing the video, right? If there's a big detail, then you can handle that, but don't let the small ones get in your way.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yes. Just learn to do. Try to draw from your knowledge that you've accumulated, but do not let it bog you down. Don't listen to that voice that's telling you that this isn't a good video or that your hook's not good enough or whatever. Have faith that you know what you know and you know how to apply what you know. So just move forward, do your best, and that will be good enough. Those were the two main points.
Yeah, that's good enough, I think.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Cool. I'll just wrap it up then. And those are the two main, biggest, most important points. Don't overthink it and learn to delegate the work if possible. Or at the very least, keep it fresh. Have a fresh approach. Don't feel like you're doing the same old thing where your schedule is full of obligations and you're tired and you're sick of it. So these are the big changes that Augie and I are feeling. We're gearing up to start our channels again, to get going. And honestly, it feels really good. I think there is always a fear once you start having any success on YouTube that the success is going to go away. And sometimes these breaks are necessary. They can be very scary. But having reached the tail end of it, I feel great. I'm stoked. And I can't wait for the future, for real. And it seems like you're in the same boat, Augie.
Definitely am.
Mm-hmm. Right on. Well, with that, that's a wrap. Don't forget to check out VidChops.com so you can delegate some of the work that maybe you don't want to do. Think about it. Could change your channel and help you out.